Hey TMFG community, John Iaconetti here with Carlo Cansino. In today's episode of ASK TMFG, we're going to be going over the most important tips you should be following in order to have a successful retirement. Remember, if you do enjoy our content, like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We love doing these videos for you. In today's episode of Ask TMFG, we're going to be thinking about the most important things to consider when trying to have a successful retirement. And there's a lot of things that go into leading up and the planning for retirement, but we tried to narrow it down to what we think are the five most important. And I'll get us started with the first one, budgeting, right? When working and going through your working years, there's going to be a lot of expenses that come along the way. And having your expenses under control is going to lead to a lot of success down the line. And that's something, at least that we found, that not a lot of people like to create a budget.
Oh yeah, no, it's like pulling teeth. Who wants to create a budget? Who wants to sit in front of an Excel spreadsheet, download all of their expenses from their credit card, and then walk through it? I, on the other hand, do like to do it, so that's just me.
Yeah, it has gotten easier. Like you said, I mean, if you're like us, probably a lot of expenses are going through the credit card or debit card already. There's already your bank tracking these expenses for you and making it a lot easier to kind of export that and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. It's not the same as sitting next to a calculator, writing down all your expenses on a day-to-day. But the budget's the first step, right? And I think that's one of the most important parts. And that kind of leads into the second very important consideration. That's saving, right? Because if you can't get your budget under control, you're not going to save much.
Exactly. You need to know what is going out in expenses. You're going to be getting income. Part of that has to go to living expenses. Whatever's left over is for your savings for retirement, emergency fund, whatever other savings goals that you have. But one of the most important things that we recommend to our clients is treat it like an expense.
Yeah.
Make sure savings happens immediately. Otherwise, if you're waiting until all the other expenses are paid off to see what you have remaining, and that's what you're going to put away, typically, if you're like me, sometimes money burns a hole in your pocket. There's always something to spend it on. So treat savings like an expense. Make it come out. Pay yourself first. We're students of the wealthy barber.
Yeah.
So pay yourself first. Treat it like an expense. And that will ensure that you have your investment plan set up.
Yeah, we're all human, right? Money's in the bank account. You're going to spend it one way or another. So keep that in mind as a general rule of thumb, to have 15 to 20% of your gross income go towards savings. And that brings us to our next point. If we're going to be saving this amount of money, what are we doing with it? And that should be investing, right? And putting money into a TFSA, RSP, or long-term investment for retirement or any sort of major upstanding goals like purchasing a house.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note how much do you need in retirement? And that will help determine what you're investing in, what kind of investments, what kind of rate of return you need.
Yeah.
So projecting out what retirement looks like. What are we going to be spending our money on? Typically, as a rule of thumb, if you're living a desired lifestyle now, typically in retirement you won't have debt. You won't have additional savings. So you can live on 70% of your net income, because otherwise the 30% would be going to paying off debt or saving. So at least having an idea of what you want retirement to look like, determining what that dollar amount is, and then setting up your savings to achieve that goal given X rate of return.
Yeah, there's no perfect science to it. Everyone is going to be a little bit different. Like even going into what your natural risk tolerance is. Maybe going to a higher aggressive portfolio isn't what you're naturally suited for, because there's going to be the ups and downs that go along with the market. It's important to kind of find that right portfolio for you that's going to balance everything. What's good for you today and easing you throughout the market volatility, but also going to be able to provide you what your retirement should be. But that leads us even into our next point. And we all know the world's ever changing. The only thing constant is change. So this plan is going to change as well. Maybe you're not able to save 15 to 20%. Maybe your portfolio is going to have to change. Maybe your budget's going to change. It's important to stay updated and stay, keeping up to date with the budget, keeping up to date with your savings, just to make sure that you're staying on target.
Yeah, creating a plan is great. Having a projection of what you want to happen in retirement is amazing, as long as everything stays the same. But as we all know, that changes will happen. Illness, a death of a loved one, change of jobs, loss of job. Those are all things that can impact the plan that you've already set in place. So monitoring that, meeting with your financial advisor on a regular basis to ensure that that person is up to date on these year-to-year, month-to-month changes.
Yeah, and that perfectly leads us into the last point, which is create a financial plan. Speak with a professional. These things are not easy to do. It's not easy to go through, the rigors of life and what may happen, and kind of fly by the seat of your pants. We're very well planners here. We want to make sure that no matter what goes on in your life, what changes come your way, you're still able to achieve that desired retirement and still able to achieve that desired lifestyle that you'd like.
Yeah. Put the roadmap in place. We need to know, we know what the destination is, we just have to find the best way to get there. I think that's the simplest way to put it.
That's exactly it. You can only go one step at a time, and the first step is having that conversation and getting that financial plan put in place. So hopefully those tips were helpful to you. Let us know in the comment section down below. Are there any of these that maybe you're lacking? Maybe you haven't created a budget. Maybe you haven't created a financial plan. So put it down in the comment section below. We're excited to hear from you. But that's another episode of Ask TMFG for today. Remember, if you do enjoy our content, like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Iaconetti.
I'm Carlo Cansino.
And this has been
Ask TMFG.